everyone, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Today I'm going to show you how I made this really simple mermaid wreath. These are the supplies I used to make this wreath. I'm using a 14-inch wireframe base, and this burlap measures 5.5 inches across. You can get away with just using one roll, but I had this open roll, so I went ahead and started with it. I like to gather my my burlap kind of like accordion folding it, and then I stick the zip tie through that, like through the holes, probably about a ½ inch in, and then that's how I attach it to my frame. And you want to attach it underneath for this technique. So I'm going to do the pull through, kind of like mini poofs. You want to start on the center ring. It doesn't matter if you start on outside or inside, but for the one I'm doing right now, you start on the center. I'm showing you I use my 4 fingers to measure how big my poof's going to be. You can make them as big or as little as you want, just depending on the look you're going for. Alright, so after I make the first one, I want to pull through the next ring. Be very careful not to pull what you've already put in the wreath. So you definitely want to always pull from the roll of burlap. It's not as difficult as you would think, and if you have trouble, you can always hold the previous poof while you pull the other one through. Once you get the hang of this, it's super simple. So the easiest way for me to keep up with how many are in each section, and you want to do this to make sure your wreath looks nice and uniform, I do 1, 2, 3, 3 times. So I'll do this section of 3, and then I'll go to the next one, and I do pull the burlap up to the center to start my next row. And you'll do 3 rows in each section of your wreath ring. Again, if you want more poofs in each section, you'll do more, rows. But I do suggest counting them and keeping it uniform through the whole wreath. And all you're doing is pulling through and then measuring with your fingers, going on to the next one. If anyone's interested in following me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at Southern Wreaths More, on Facebook at Southern Wreaths, and I also have a Facebook group called Southern Wreaths and More. I would love to see any of the wreaths you've made, especially if you do any based on my videos. That would be amazing. I also have all of these links in the description below. I decided to speed it up to finish this section because I'm doing the same thing over and over again. You do want to make sure that your burlap is even when you pull it through. I do like to make it look crinkled, but it is even. I stick my fingers in to make sure that all of the burlap comes up to that level. So you can see here. So you place like your hand on the frame, and then where your fingers in is where the burlap will be. Again, you can make it as big or small as you want. So to do a section in a new, to cross over to a new section, you do the exact same thing. You just go to the next bar and keep going through. So if, like me, you use more than one roll of burlap, to finish it off, you do the same thing as when you attached it at the beginning. You accordion fold, you stick the zip tie through and attach it to the frame. And then you'll do the same thing to attach your next section. Then you gather it together, and you just stick it through. And it goes through really easy because burlap has, the nice big holes in it. Make sure you're attaching it to the section that you're currently working in. As you can see, I attached it here at the bottom. I should have attached it to the center because I accidentally started adding stuff on the outside. But that didn't really make a difference when I got to the next section because the bar was there to stop it from moving anywhere, and then I just continued doing from the inside out. If you try to do 2 right beside each other, it would just pull the other one out. So you always want to start on the opposite. Some people like to twist when they go. I just feel like this wastes burlap, but it's up to you. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. And you can go through and mess with your poofs forever. At some point, you just have to stop. And then to finish it off, I do the same thing I did when I finished when I ran out. Gather it, stick the zip tie through, and attach it to the frame. If you use just one roll, you'll only have to do, you know, the attaching once and then the finishing once. And then I'll just trim everything away. And this wreath looks really pretty on the back too, so you can always hang it on a glass door. Mesh wreaths tend to look really bad on the back. So I decided to make this ribbon look like it's being wrapped around, but I'm actually just cutting pieces and attaching them. I really like this netting ribbon. It reminded me of like a fishnet. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the pieces. I ended up with 5 pieces. And then I'll show you how I attach it in a second. You could wrap it if you wanted to. I just wasn't 100% sure where I was going with everything, so I just did it as I went. So to attach it, I'm using the sections, like they're squares. And the way I cut it, you have access to those. So I just use my finger, and I'm going to feed through. Try my best to show you here. So I go through, and that. So this creates like a little tunnel for my zip tie to go through. And then I attach that to the frame. And this will keep it from, you know, turning on the actual wreath. You don't want to do it too tight because it'll look funny on your wreath, but you don't want to do it too loose to where it's hanging. So this is what it looks like when it's done. And I messed around several times trying to figure out what to add to this wreath, and I ended up just keeping it simple. I didn't have any more pipe cleaner, so I'm going to show you how I use some wire. I just happen to have these pieces of wire. They came in some stuff I bought that had a bunch of floral in it. So if you're a person that likes to use wire, this is how I do it. I just stick it through the hole, keep a little bit, make sure that the 2 pieces line up, and then I twist it. You can either twist like right up close to it with your hands, or you can pick it up and spin it. Whichever way feels right to you. Okay, and then to attach it, I'm going to feed the wires through to the back. I make sure I go in between 2 wires, and then I attach it to the wire. I'm going to try my best to show you that here. So I dig through, separate the burlap, and stick it through the back, making sure that it straddles 1 or 2 of the bars. Sorry about my cat. And then I go around to the back and I twist it around each other, and then I'll twist it around the frame a couple times. And then when I trim away, I make sure I leave just enough to where I push it down towards the front of the wreath. And this way there's nothing poking out that'll scratch anyone's door. Now when you add the ribbon, it doesn't really look any, pretty anymore from behind. So if you're wanting it to look pretty, you can just leave the burlap the way it is. But that's it. That's how I made this super simple mermaid wreath. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. If you learned anything today or liked my video, please like, share, and subscribe, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.